Okay, we are still doing the Montreal Canadiens trade stuff because this just won't go away. And now with the roster freeze in effect, it opens the door for bigger and badder discussions as to which teams are involved in these trade conversations. So, we are talking yet again about one of the most coveted trade pieces on the market, a guy whose name has been linked to every team under the sun for the past few weeks, Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jake Allen. Now, last time we had talked about Allen, I'm gonna have to try to remember which was the last time, because we've made multiple videos over the past few weeks talking about teams like Buffalo, Seattle even. Was there a Seattle video in there? I think so. There was the Oilers stuff that was trending for a good chunk of time that everybody was going over. We made multiple videos about that. Then there even was the conversation about the Kings tossed in there as well. Yeah, it's been a lot, you know? And for good reason. The Montreal Canadiens are one of these teams in the NHL carrying 3 goaltenders, and because goaltending is somewhat of a commodity around the league, there would be some teams that are going out there interested and knocking on Kent Hughes' door. But today's video is going over a different set of teams, new teams that have been involved in different conversations regarding other goaltenders, but never Jake Allen in particular. In fact, we already made a video talking about this team and another Canadiens goaltender. Now we're linking different things and putting different combinations in there. This is what Pierre LeBrun went out there and said on yesterday's edition of TSN Insider Trading, which caused this entire video topic to go in the first place. He says the Carolina Hurricanes have talked to Montreal about Jake Allen recently. The New Jersey Devils have also discussed Jake Allen internally. Martin Brodeur was in St. Louis with Allen, so he knows him well. Now, this is a pretty basic tweet, and that's really all there is to it, to this conversation. Oh, hey, there are new teams involved, Carolina, New Jersey. But if you wanted to expand and go over some of the context around these discussions, then it makes a lot more sense as to why these teams are being called out. Now, plain and simple, I'm going to use this judgment on both the Devils and the Hurricanes. Their goaltending sucks, and we've talked about this in multiple videos over the past few weeks. If you go over to New Jersey and look at their goaltending situation, you have Akira Schmid, who is at an .893 save percentage and a .326 goals against in 15 games, and Vitek Vanacek, who is at an .883 save percentage and a .335 goals against. Not good. Then, if you go over to the Carolina Hurricanes, their situation is debatably even worse. Antti Ranta has an .854 save percentage, Freddie Anderson has an .894, and then Pyotr Kochetkov has an .899. Now, some of the goals against numbers are a little bit better. Kochetkov has a .253 goals against. The rest of the guys have a lot worse, but still. With the Antti Ranta waiver situation, with Yaniv Perez, who is the NCAA guy, ECHL guy getting called up into the NHL so early on in his career, you could understand why there is a Carolina Hurricanes goaltending discussion that is being tossed out there. We even had other conversations brought up by NHL insiders saying that, yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes are probably going to be looking, they're probably going to be scouring the market, and now their sights have apparently landed on Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jake Allen. Now, Allen, ever since we've talked about him, he's been sort of an up-and-down kind of goaltender. I mean, he's at a .904 save percentage right now and a .343 goals against in 12 games played. Definitely not, like, the best set of numbers he's ever had. In fact, it's particularly poor compared to his other Montreal Canadiens years. But there was a pretty recent type of resume that Allen has built up for himself over the past few games. If you go over to his game log and you try to see just what he's been doing as of late, he ends up beating the Winnipeg Jets in overtime. He has a .938 save percentage there. He also has a .938 save percentage as the Canadiens lose to the Predators 2-1. He's had 2 straight games of actually being hot. The Red Wings game and then the Kings game and the Bruins game beforehand, though, he wasn't really all too great. He was good when they lost to the Canucks, though. I mean, 32 saves and 35 shots against, .914 save percentage. He's had a pretty up-and-down season this year. But I feel like for a lot of Canadiens fans, there is sort of a more secure vibe with Montembeault in net rather than Allen. I think it's pretty much widely concluded now that Montembeault is the best goaltender on the team. Caden Primo being younger and Jake Allen being a lot older pretty much skews the sort of trade desirability into Jake Allen's favor. And because there's a lot more experience there, it makes for a more attractive profile just on paper, especially when you consider that Jake Allen, as we've said in multiple videos, he has been a good pro the entire time. He was a St. Louis Blue backup to eventual St. Louis Blue starter to a backup again once Jordan Binnington came around. He was a total pro when they won the Stanley Cup in 2019, only playing one game, and now he's in Montreal, where he went to the finals again, did not play a single game in the playoffs because Carey Price was Carey Price, and he has just been there, through the thick of it all. He's been up and down, Stanley Cup finalist team, all the way to a first overall drafting team. Allen has been there, just sticking it out, just doing his job, and the fact that he even decided to come back to Montreal in the first place on his $3.85 million deal just kind of shows that, hey, it doesn't really matter if the team is too competitive or not. He's got a role here, he's embracing it, and he's just a good-hearted pro. So I can understand if it's like, okay, the New Jersey Devils are consulting with Marty Brodeur, for example, and he's got some good insight as to what Jake Allen is like, his tendencies, his personality, etc., etc. And if the Devils are indeed still interested, then it probably means that Marty Brodeur had a good reference to Allen. So, I mean, it's not really surprising, right? These are two other teams that need goaltenders, and because their own goaltending situations are pretty whack, it makes sense that one of the most available and talked about guys on the market is now being considered. Now, the question is, though, if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, what is it that you would want from either the New Jersey Devils or the Carolina Hurricanes if it is a Jake Allen trade? I've been seeing a lot of Habs fans, especially on social media, just kind of calling this out and saying, okay, I don't really care anymore. Like, we've had Allen rumors to Seattle, Buffalo, LA, Edmonton, now New Jersey, Carolina. He's been trade bait for everybody. Just trade the guy already, Kent Hughes. Come on. Like, if you had traded Jake Allen 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we wouldn't have been surprised. So the fact that this has dragged out this long is kind of annoying, but at the same time, I mean, I guess Kent Hughes was wanting to be as efficient as he can be when analyzing what teams are interested in a goaltender, because there are a lot of them, and if they're all balancing out with different trade packages and whatever, then Kent Hughes has the right to go out there and, be choosy. It's like the dating scene. When you've got multiple options, you tend to take your time with things. So I could understand from Kent Hughes' point of view why this is taking so gosh darn long, but at the same time, as a fan of the sport and somebody who wants to see trades go down, it's taken a really gosh darn long amount of time. So if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, what is your thought process in trading with New Jersey or Carolina in some sort of a Jake Allen swap? Who knows how the cap stuff is going to work out, because as we had noted, Jake Allen making his 3.8 something million is not nothing. And if you go over to some of these teams in the NHL, I mean, the New Jersey Devils, with their current cap situation, they've got about 1.4 mil that they could spend on LTIR, which is not great. And then if you go over to the Hurricanes, they've got 3.2 mil, so they're actually a little bit closer to getting this done if they wanted to force that through, since they've got a lot fewer dollars they need to shed off. But either way, what are the prospects? What are the picks? What are the other assets you would be interested in if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan looking for Carolina or New Jersey to make this trade? If you're a Devils or a Hurricanes fan, do you think Jake Allen is the answer here? We had this assessment in other conversations surrounding some of the other teams that were involved, but if you're making a trade for a goaltender that's this big, because let's face it, he's been in trade rumors for so long, this is going to be a pretty big thing. If you're making a trade for a goalie like this, you have to be sure that you're getting the right guy. You are getting the player that can help bring your team out of that slump and actually give the goaltending you need to hopefully get into the playoffs and win a few rounds. I'm not going to go out there and say that New Jersey or Carolina are guaranteed cup contending, cup winning favorites at the moment, but you got to be sure that your goaltender that you get is the one that can help you do that, because Carolina's been in this position for a while, top-tier team in the NHL. They've got it all, except for the goaltending. New Jersey is back in there ever since the young guys they had started to develop and grow. The Hugheses are doing their jobs. Alexander Holtz is looking better. You've got Timo Meier, who is admittedly struggling, but he's still a guy. And then, of course, Brott, Hischier, everybody else, they're all great. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Allen is the guy that your team should be targeting? If you're a Habs fan, what would you want from either of these two teams? New Jersey fans, Carolina fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.